I hate Matt with a passion. All right, welcome to the Bachelor Pad Radio.
Welcome.
JakePodcast.com, the worst start to anything in life.
No, I think people can appreciate what we just did.
Facebook Live is like, what is wrong with you people?
This is not a show. This is just
This
idiots.
is reality TV.
Oh, it's reality. I'm not feeling good and shenanigans. You guys are very annoying, except for Dave. Dave is the only non-annoying person.
Well,
you two
that's-
both
I try
suck
my
at
best.
life.
That's like an anomaly.
That's crazy.
I know, right?
The two guys that tried breaking the mic, huh? Yeah.
That's right.
Hey,
Well, yeah.
I fixed it, Buster.
Yeah, we'll give you
That's the dream team. Cause problems, then you fix. That's how you
Boom.
learn, Dave.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hey, I had to put that one back up with no shenanigans, although it does have the cool twisty turn. Yours has a twisty,
You
right?
just
Yeah, I've got
I
a
think
twisty.
your word for the day is shenanigans, or for every day is shenanigans.
Definitely shenanigans.
you just got that
Shenanigans.
mic back though, so it's a blessing.
Yeah, I know, right? Good
So am
timing. And so is Dave. All right, this is the Bachelor Pad. How's okay? So it is football Monday. Let me guess. Walled Lake Western won
Yes, 42-0.
because that's what they do. And
City champs, 42-0, went into our rival's house and handled business.
yeah, and how and you mentioned you called me earlier in the day because of you now I have to pay attention to football and my alma mater and everything
Yes.
now. So my team that has been wishy-washy.
5-4.
Yeah, 5-4. But you're supposed to, isn't it like 6-3?
No, if you make
oughta-
it 5. No, 5. If you make 5, you're in.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, they keep lowering the bar.
Yeah.
Because it used to be, in order to get in the playoffs in the mega conference and everything, it was 7 wins. Like 7-2. If you weren't 8-1, you'd get some 7-2 schools or whatever.
Sure.
And then I heard that, they redid everything. If you get 6 wins, you're in.
Right.
And then now it's like
Well,
5.
5 is bubble, but you have to like beat someone, and your strength of schedule, and all that plays in. And then the population of kids has a factor because it throws you in a certain division.
Yeah, dude,
So-
high school football is like a big thing. Like when you were doing your live stuff, it was almost like draft day and whatever. Like
Oh, you saw
they're
it?
looking at screens
You saw
and
it?
screens and this and and they're waiting and they announce what this team is going to do, and then I hear dudes in the background going, "Oh no, if they're playing this, then we're going to end up pulling Brother Rice, or it's going to be this." And dude, I'm
That's
like,
awesome that
it
you
was
watched
weird.
that.
There was
That's
a lot of shenanigans going on.
Yeah,
So
we take over Buffalo Wild Wings, the whole back bar area,
Yeah.
and all the TVs, all the volumes turned up, and it's a selection Sunday for playoffs. They start with Division 8, work your way down. We're Division 2.
Okay.
So, and there's 4 regions, Region 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and within those regions, there's 4 teams.
Okay.
So, the 1 and 2 is the west side of the state, and if you want to say east side of the state is the 3 and 4.
Right.
So obviously you battle on your 2. The outcome of whoever comes in 2 and the 1 and 2 region faces the 3. So as you go down.
How far do you guys usually travel if you're going? Do you guys just go? Do you stay in the same region actually, or do you go
Well,
to?
no, that's where it's jacked up.
Yeah.
Because in our region, Traverse City West is in our region.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
that's all the way up north. So, but seeming that we have a great record, we are now we have 3 home games for playoffs because we won and we get the right. But I think that 4th game, I don't know. I think it's a neutral site situation. So we would probably play at some college in the middle of the state, maybe Saginaw Valley
Okay.
or maybe Central. We would play in their stadium.
So it goes. Okay. So the actual home games, the team that's hosting the home game, that's pretty much dependent on the actual
Record.
performance.
Oh,
and
the record, yeah.
Gotcha.
Strength of schedule,
Okay.
everything, yeah.
I was never big into high school football when I was in high school, so I never really knew how any of that worked.
So like I said, Selection Sunday. So it got down to finally, and here's the division. So they kind of busted out all the divisions, and they threw us a curveball because we were expecting Brother Rice, and we got Livonia Franklin out of nowhere. So
Huh.
kind of
And-
a big deal.
this kind of makes me wish I had a chance to, I told myself this. The only bad part is I changed my work schedule depending on any number of variances, that I want to make sure I'm off on Fridays. You know what I mean? Like, be off on those Fridays. But then for business, I kind of have to be in on the busier days. So, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I kind of need to be here. But I really want to go and, I just think it's part of the go to a cider mill, go to a, go to a football game, go have adult drinks. Like, that's where you would go to a, TGIF Friday or an Applebee's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Grab a bite to eat, bowl of soup and some beers with a few dudes you played ball with or whatever.
Yeah, 'tis the season, right?
Yeah, but I didn't make it happen. I didn't make one game.
There's your Region 4. Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
Jake
So
kinda
see
looks
where
like
you're
my
at?
coach as well.
So
He
that's
looks
who
like
you
a
play.
football coach.
That's who you'd play, Belleville,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So you guys so Salem has got to travel to Belleville, probably.
I don't know. Belleville was not that great back in my day.
They have
so-
11 D1 athletes.
Do they really?
Commits. Yeah.
Yeah, but they found a way to lose a couple games, right?
Belleville?
Yeah.
They're 9-0.
Did it say 9-0?
Yeah.
You read it as 9 and 8.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we got a little close. Well, I don't know. Well, good luck to the
Salem.
the Salem boys, and it doesn't sound like the Walled Lakers need it because they just go out and win for the last few years.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's good.
Hats off.
That'd be good to have a good, super good program like that.
It's just fun being a coach and being a part of it because it's basically just run like college. I mean, we
You
run.
learn off the kids as well.
What's that?
You learn off the kids as well.
No, the kids learn off of me.
Yeah.
No, I'm just teasing. No. It's just a great learning environment. It's just getting the boys ready for real life situations.
Yeah, of course.
How to cope with things.
Especially with the signs of sports as well, because you build with kids along with sports. You build with kids along with sports, and it helps them character build as well because it sees that you want to do it, so they do it as well.
Oh, for sure. Walled Lake Western, there's 3 schools. We're that big. There's 3 schools. There's Northern, Central, and Western. Northern and Central are the better kids, more,
Right.
The
Wow, just way to throw some other kids under the bus.
Western is a blue-collar school.
Yeah.
We punch time clocks and bang it out.
Well, good for you guys.
So we just there's a lot of kids I try to take care of.
Well, there's a lot of social, it's weird. It's not a gimme, but you do find when you're playing, on a football team, if you're not out in the country somewhere and everyone's white, and it's, Bubba and,
for sure.
Jimbo,
like
and whatever.
Lowell, Michigan.
But when you do play, it's weird because, I remember, racial things and whatever, even if you didn't grow up in neighborhoods like that, or I played ball with guys that didn't, right? They only grew up around, only white people, only everything.
Right.
But you've got a Hispanic, you got a couple of Hispanic dudes, a couple, African-American dudes and whatever. And it doesn't matter who the person is, what they believe, what they think. I'm the center and you're the right guard, right? We have to work,
2 years ago, the best thing coming out of the banquet, I had 2 kids. One's playing D2 ball right now, and the other one's playing Wayne State. And he told me, he said, "Coach," he says, "you're the only reason why I stayed playing football."
Oh,
so it was awesome. It was great to, just a good thing, if I can help kids and, play, it's fun.
Yeah,
that is pretty awesome.
Especially if you do your best on it, because it sounds like you guys are doing pretty good.
Yeah, we got a good head coach. We got a good program,
And you're also doing it, so it's going to be amazing regardless, right?
Right,
Well,
right.
I didn't want to say that out loud,
Yeah.
but you know what? You're right.
Magic Man over here.
That's right.
Yeah,
Way to
Mr.
Mojo
Fixer. You
working.
see?
he is not afraid to toot his own horn or
Toot,
anything,
toot.
is he?
Right.
He got
Toot,
up and he
toot.
fixed the mic stand. He's
What
not
else
afraid
you want me to
fix
do?
Anything. I
I
don't know.
fixed your relationship.
You
I
didn't
fixed.
fi- yeah. Come on, you just.
That's episode. No.
That was Go back to the
Stay
archives
tuned,
for
yeah.
that conversation. Come on.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time Matt's been in the studio since he Babe Ruthed. I'll show you.
We talked about it, and he was cracking up.
I was dying because I couldn't say it.
Well,
fast
it's
enough.
just come on, man. Come on, we all knew.
Hey, okay. I don't know if the audience has no idea what we're even talking about. They're just putting two
What
and two
episode
together.
was it?
Yeah, right.
What episode, Jakey?
No, it's just we talked a lot about guys and girls being friends, and the friend zone, and it went through a bunch of stuff, and of course Matt poked fun and. Oh, look at you two. Oh, you're friends? So you guys dating? You banging it out? What are you doing?
And we're like, no, Matt, we're not.
Then what happened?
Nothing, man. We just
Nothing.
went out for a few drinks later that night.
That's
and
good.
And communication.
Yeah, we just
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
we just had some nice heartfelt conversation. That's all that really went down.
That's good.
That's
for
right.
you.
Just
That's always good to. It's always
closer
good to have
friends
the
now.
conversation.
Yeah.
So
You're
now it's-
welcome.
Yeah,
So
thank
now,
you.
so far, everything is going great. Like, you don't have to worry about
I don't
any worries, or do you have anything on the back of your mind?
no, everything's perfect, man. Everything's exactly where I just got a house with the girl and my other best friend, and I don't really want any things to change, if that makes sense to you guys. I don't really care enough. I mean, I just care about the current relationships I have with my friends and whatnot. I don't really need to progress or make anything different,
You're content.
Yeah, it's
Good
good.
for you.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I had an idea a while ago that it was gonna be my benefit to the world, but also like completely self-serving to myself.
Oh God.
Jake's home for wayward girls, or Jake's home for wayward strippers, right?
It sounds
Like that
nice,
one
yeah.
stripper who's got a bad living arrangement and whatever. Just make sure I always have like 2 extra rooms, right? And just
Yeah.
no shenanigans in the house, right? You come,
Yeah.
no loud music, like this is a sanctuary and whatever.
Keep your diseases at the door.
Wow, diseases.
Wow.
This guy.
Oh,
Have you only dated like
What
church girls?
He's only
and
been ever blessed by the Pope every relationship he has.
the guy's worked in these clubs and whatever, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some of the girls you've hooked up with and dated. This is your standards were the
What standards?
the super Octomom thing or whatever. You remember that situation? I remember you getting mad at me over Octomom.
Well, now he's got an accountant. He's got a consult, and he's got everything now.
Yeah.
Everything's on the table with Matt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just dropped a bomb on him about Octomom.
Hold on. Okay,
I forgot about
let's
that.
talk
No,
about
it's
Octomom.
Yeah, what's going on
it's
with-
gonna have to be pieced together because
Okay.
that's
Because he's just remembering it. I don't know, right? I'm in a situation where I'm hanging out and I'm like, cool. Okay, so you mentioned you don't have a boyfriend, right? We're drinking a lot. We're riding around in minivans or whatever. But this Yahoo, like, oh no, just friends. Actually, he was you, right? He was playing a you.
Yeah.
Oh, just friends. Everything's fine and whatever, right? Oh, and I'm like, cool. And then she was like, I don't know. I think I'd like to mess around with you, but I think Matt will be. And I was like, why would Matt be weird? You guys are just friends. Yeah, I know. That's what I think too, but I don't know. And I remember I messed around with Octomom or whatever. Then you like kicked me out of a minivan and made me like go in somebody else's car. And I was like, look.
What did I do?
What are you
I-
trying
dude,
I
to
don't
it was-
remember. Honestly,
it was
it's
When did this all
very
happen?
vague.
Oh God, what was that?
It's vague.
12, like 2012
Trying to
ish
get
or
some
something.
road
9 or
play?
10. Yeah, or
It's
after.
that way. It's keep going south.
I don't know. It was, dude, I moved back and forth from Texas like 59 times, right? So I don't know what day or what trip I was back on or whatever. But, yeah, it had to have been like, 7, 8, 9 or something, yeah.
Yeah, because didn't you go up to the Diamond or the baseball or at Canton? Remember we met for drinks and we caught up at the baseball field? That's when you just got back.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Or you had that certain stage in your life and you just got your
It was
stuff
one
together.
of the just backs or just something. But, yeah, all I know is the goddamn Octomom, and I messed around with the Octomom, and you got really mad. Like, you
Did
were
I?
mad at me, like, dude, she's a good girl, or you shouldn't be doing this or
Wow.
whatever. And I was
What
like,
was I talking
man.
about?
yeah.
I must have hit my head.
Let's come to the conclusion. Why is she called Octomom?
Well, obviously she had many kids.
It's
Oh, that's the reason. Okay.
yeah,
It,
That's
it
all right.
was more like,
Dave's like, she got 8 bosoms.
Yeah, is there something going on? Like moles? I don't know.
Is she Carol
Whoa.
Brady?
Cinco Seis.
Yeah.
It was something
I don't
somewhere in
remember,
there.
bro.
How
What did
can-
she? Do you remember what she looked like?
I don't. I stayed friends with her on Facebook for some amount of time or whatever, and I've been lucky to ever mess around with a lady who's had one or two kids maybe. So the
Nice.
fact that like 5 or 6 whatever, I was like, oh, it's crazy.
Pento mom. Wait, hold on, Matt.
Dude,
Matt,
Yeah.
How can you kick sweet poor old Jake out of a minivan?
It's very easy.
Sweet poor old Jake. He was just yelling
Sweet
at everybody.
poor old
Yeah,
Jake.
sweet,
Early
innocent,
show,
nice.
Time
very
out. You guys don't.
kind-hearted.
If you guys are saying sweet poor Jake, then you don't know the Jake.
Passive aggressive at
I
best.
turn a
And I'm
blind
sick,
eye.
and I need no shenanigans.
That is all right with me.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I remember that. It was weird. It was a very weird.
remember. I got to look at. Would she still be friends on your
I
Facebook?
doubt it.
So I have a question for Matt and Jake.
Sure.
So from when you guys were younger until you're getting older, did it change your perception on women with kids for dating wise, or just fooling around? You know.
Well,
Did
if
you-
she
when
had
you were
kids, then
younger-
she fooled around and banged. So,
Right, obviously.
So
That's
that was a
But
plus.
did it change anything? Did anything about kids change your thought from when you were younger? So let's say you were younger and you were thinking.
I mean, no. When I was younger,
We
it
just had
was
that conversation today.
avoid, and yeah, so did we on the couch.
Yeah,
So I
that
guess this
was-
is where we're going today.
Yeah.
There was a stark opinion of got a kid, nope, too much trouble, don't need any of that, and whatever, and you leave it alone. Even with chitty chitty bang bang, right? You just avoid it, right? Like, I gotta, she's got an F trophy, right? We'll go ahead and get away from this. And then I didn't, I was like, there's got to be plenty. It's almost like picking somebody for a job who has a felony or has no record, right? You're going to go, there's plenty of people with no record who've never made a mistake.
Right.
Why am I going to second chance this person, right? And that's kind of the way I looked at the vagine, right? So I looked at the vagine and went, no, you've got this, and now you've got all like into, hey, let's go to the bar tonight. No, let's go to a Disney movie, right? And I was like,
Right.
no, I'm just going to avoid that.
Yeah.
Because why put
It all
yourself
depends-
in a situation where you'd have to make those choices, right?
Basically, it boils down to where you want to be in your life at that time.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a
Right.
pre-made family? Hook it up.
right.
But you got the better part. Typically, they're more experienced and they do wilder stuff. But it all depends. It all depends on where you want to be in your life.
Now, the advice that we gave, when we were talking earlier when we had this conversation,
Pandora.
I went, it was kind of funny because we talked about it and I went, no, I go, it's actually kind of awesome now. And because he went, well, I don't want to get in a relationship. And I was like, dude, you're talking about dating or on Tinder or whatever. I was like, so, okay, she's got a kid. Because they were like, what, are they sticking up their kids in the thing now? Like, hey, look at me and my F trophy, right? And I go,
Every
made a
once in a
mistake.
while, yeah.
Well, because I think it's more of a filter at that point because they don't want to have the conversation with you about
Well,
it. They'd
Right.
rather look.
It's kind
and-
of like an icebreaker.
But-
Like,
Yeah.
there you
And
go.
it's also society changed. It's probably more okay to have little Jimmy
Children.
and Lisa in the
oh yeah,
picture.
Yeah.
But see-
I'm
but
not
see-
opposed to that at all, really.
And knowing what you're getting.
Yeah.
Well, you start out easy because if she's got the kid, you can't go out those certain nights, right? You've got to wait until the dad has them on. Like, dude, when I did venture into the realm of dating single moms, dude, it was the greatest. And my buddy Billy at work is the one who told me about it. He was a genius.
So it's like dating like women at funerals.
It
the
is.
Will Ferrell,
It's a
or
lot
the-
like Chaz maybe or he might be a visionary. I don't
That's
know.
awesome.
He might be a lunatic. But think about it. If she's got the kid every one of those days, right? Certain days that, you just can't go out. So she gets a free weekend either every weekend or every other weekend. So you get a free every other weekend to hang out with your boys, or if you're a creep, you can date other chicks or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the one good part is most chicks, when you date, at least that I found, they're like, look, I don't want to really involve or get my kids involved in the thing right away because in case it doesn't work out. So you get like a good, like you're
get a
sneaking
pass.
around.
You
Yeah,
get a
you're getting a
pass.
Makes
sneak
perfect-
around
yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
you
for
get a
like
pass.
2 to 3 months, and then if
Easy.
everything's cool, then you meet little Jimmy, and then okay, so we go to the apple orchard, or we do go to the go-karts or whatever, and then you go home and you treat mom the way she
Yeah,
needs to be
I mean,
treated later.
It's a nice incentive to take things a bit slower. Of course, who we were talking to earlier, my buddy, he moved in with this chick within 2 months of really knowing her.
prior to know her in general.
Yeah, yeah. And, just in general, can just take what could have been a cool relationship and ruin it real quick because, you're only going to last so long before that fire burns out. And then you're like, wow, okay, I'm stuck with this person in my hair all day long, every night, every morning. There's a kid screaming.
Right.
What the heck did I do?
Yeah. I just found out I just found out something weird from this girl who's, moving out and doing some other stuff, and I guess the boyfriend didn't like talk or acknowledge the kid for like a year or two. Like, cool, that's your bag, and So it's kind of weird. Like, you know, people in those situations, if you're not ready for them, you may really like the person. You know, I happen to like kids. I happen to like kids that aren't mine because I can just go, cool. I'll give you some cool advice, and here, let's play frisbee, and then, cool. I'm gonna go order a pizza, have fun. You know, bathing and putting people away and doing whatever you do with them.
Bathing.
What do you put them in dresser drawers? I was like, I don't know where you
go read a story.
Actually, this reminds me of a funny story, really quick.
If you say your mom, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, nothing that doesn't involve my mom.
I didn't know where you were going. I was like, oh, I hope he doesn't say, well, my mom.
Yeah, of course. But when I was going to the gym one time and I was walking in, this was about almost hitting December, kind of earlier on, and I was walking in, and a wife, a husband, and her 2 kids were walking in behind me. So, as somebody like me, I would hold open the door for the whole family.
You're a gentleman, sir.
Well, what happened was the 2 kids walked in, then the husband walked in, and then the wife walked in the last minute. I promise you, when I say I promise you, she cuffed my balls, and she said, thank you, and looked at me, and then she just kept walking. Now, I would like to say this to people. I would love to say, you know, this was just a conspiracy, you know, my thought. But when I mean cup, I mean I felt all her fingers.
Independent finger, like the pinky, yeah.
All around, almost touching the gooch, you know.
Yeah.
And at this point.
The ring finger.
Yeah, right. And at this point, I just kind of sat there, and I was like, really? With your 2 kids and your husband? Walking before you, you know.
Well, the one thing we can tell you, right, as being more, worldly men. No, dude. Relationships, whatever you see from the outward side of life, like you look and you go, oh, that's a nice married couple and whatever,
right?
And she, looks over, gives you the wink, or like, dude, why is that married chick? What, dude? Look, I think marriages would last a ton more if people weren't so caught up on the puritanical, ideas of whatever. Now, I'm monogamous. I don't care. I can be with the same chick forever. I can eat the same thing every day. I could do whatever.
Right.
But there are a lot of people that I know in relationships, right, that are married and they both have like a, I don't know, it's getting close to, I
can understand.
They'll go out with their thing. They'll go out with whatever. They have a little fun. They come back, and it kind of helps their relationship.
I know a few people that are in those types of open relationships, and it actually makes the relationship stronger and better because they don't think as sex and stuff. Sex is just a pleasure. There's no meaning behind it. There's no nothing. You're coming back to the person that you love. It's just sex is just a thing.
Dude, I equate sex to the same as like taking a pee or a poo, right? It's got to happen once or twice throughout the day, and that's it. Like, it would be equating cheating to you masturbated. Like, oh my God, you did this not in my presence. Like, if you look and go, like,
that's
food.
A good point.
Like food. So I'm eating dinner, but now that we're together, you can only eat dinner
with me
in my presence.
Right.
That's a great point.
Sometimes
the whole masturbation thing.
Well, dude, you know how many fights in my young age?
Oh my God. Like you whacked off?
I've never had that.
What were you thinking about? Yeah. Who were you thinking about?
Was it a picture of me?
They'll be like, no. When's the last time you sent me a picture? I asked you for pictures the whole time we were dating. You ain't never sent no pictures.
No, this is the donkey in Mexico.
The thing is, this actually happens, all the time. The more you start going out into public, when you see couples together at like a concert or something, this happens all the time. A lot of people will go off to the side, have a little shenanigans in the crowd, and go right back to their spouse. I was just last year was outside of a concert, just having a smoke with my buddy. And we met this really nice couple from, Toronto. They were just having a nice conversation with us, and noticed the wife was, a little inebriated. And while I'm sitting there talking to the guy, she's sitting there winking at me and biting her lip. I mean, imagine just trying to have a conversation
and keep a straight face.
Yeah. Right.
And she's sitting there giving me the eyes and biting her lip and doing this, and I'm like, wow, okay. Is he? I didn't want to acknowledge it because I didn't know if the guy was cool with it. Is he gonna be mad and fight me? So I just kind of let it go. But that happens all the time.
Definitely it was a definitely it's okay sign because he would have crunched it if it wasn't.
Well, he didn't see. They were standing parallel.
Maybe she was just a part-time freak.
Yeah, how me and you are sitting talking to Jake, except you're over there, winking at him and stuff, and I'm just sitting here thinking I'm, talking to him about life.
I'm not going over with you, man.
Traffic, and he's like, yeah.
I think what can come good about this particular subject is when you get a wink in public, or you get like that little flirtatious look or whatever in public, it kind of boosts your self-esteem. Even for not doing anything with that person or even meeting that person. But if you can tell that somebody's coming on to you, physically, you can kind of read it, and it kind of just gives you a little bit of like of a bump in the day, like that person thinks I'm attractive. That it gives you a place to where you are.
I could care less. I looked at myself in the mirror before I left the house. Are we getting down later? Like, am I coming over after after you're done making your casserole, sister? Like, well, and okay, so you got random TSA'd at the for holding the door.
Yeah.
I've got a story where the first time it ever happened, and I thought it was like crazy neat. I was about your age and didn't know what to do with it. Like, now me and the same thing. If I held the door currently in your position and she gave me the cuff and a wink and whatever, and my workout would have been, where is that lady?
Yeah.
Where is she at? The minute she came around, my phone would have been out and been like, hey, I can hold all kinds of other stuff too, right? Like, I'm really good with side doors, back door. The garage door needs to be open.
Right.
I'm your guy.
Your bedroom door?
You're so funny, blah, blah, blah. And then, here, let me get your number. Maybe one of these days I'll have a door that needs to be open. And then
wide,
whatever. And look, at least you tried. She touched the balls first,
Right.
If there was ball touching, I'm getting a number. I'm going to follow you around. I'm going to tell your husband, hey, it's really nice to meet you. And I'm going to get the door for the wife, whatever. I'm going to throw my phone number in the car. Yeah.
I think what really just happened, I just got caught off guard because times change, and back then sex was brought more in perspective for a younger crowd, and the music and everything else, and that's great, and I liked it. But it is now too, except I guess you just gotta look for it, and what happened with me at the gym, I guess I just got caught off guard. And
I will tell you that I've held I'm a door holder, right?
Right.
I've been in Texas, yes ma'am, no ma'am, hold a door. I don't care if it's a 90-year-old woman, it's a mom and her little itty bitty, son or daughter. I'll hold here you go, partner, go on in, right? If you're there, you might as well do it. Never been cupped.
Really?
Never gotten the door cup. You
could ask
You could ask a zillion people. They've held a lot of doors in their day, never been cuffed.
Right.
So, yeah, that's why, to me, that seems like,
a good sign.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's got their cup scenario. Everyone's going to cup you in different ways, different places, different times. You just happen to get the door cupper.
Yeah.
You just happen to get the door. The only time I've ever been, fondled and cupped in public is at, concerts and crowds, man. Everyone's drunk and having a good time, and yeah, diddle dat.
Well,
diddle do.
I guess that's what determines as well as the environment, I guess I didn't think about it because I was in a gym in a public area, which was here in Canton.
Well, you know what, dude? Gyms have they did a study a while back about gyms, and people hook up and do stuff in gyms all the time. It's a crazy high, testosterone, high sex drive area.
Your endorphins.
I hate all of you. I've been to when I was lifting every day and whatever. I mean, I guess powerlifting doesn't really put you in the, hey, that's who I want to go,
some guy.
Yeah, they don't want the bear squatting 650 pounds. They want the aesthetic cut up dude. Well, I'm not saying.
No, don't get me wrong. I did look after a while, because I am Mr. Friendly and I do like to talk. There would be a whole lot of, hi on the way to the water fountain. And it wasn't, oh, you said hi to me, so now I'm going to go stand over you and be a jerk, right? And put on my, Axe body spray while you're trying to,
like a middle school band.
You know what I mean? So I didn't go that far, but I did, by being nice and friendly and, just being, being me, I guess. And I did do the Carnegie Lifetime Plan for Success stuff. And it was at that time when I had read the book. So obviously you're being much friendlier. But I would go and get on the cardio machines, right? So I'm on the stair stepper, on the elliptical, and like 3 or 4. And I did because I used to watch Days of Our Lives, right? I was raised by women, right? I was raised by like 3 or 4 of my aunts and my grandmother. So I watched soap operas. So I get on there and I'm like, oh, man. I was like, come on. I forget who, whatever the lady was and whatever. I said something. Like the 3 girls next to me went, do do you watch Days? And I was like, yeah, I'm not here on the elliptical
boy.
at 1 o'clock every day by accident. Oh my God, did you see last Friday? Whatever. So now I'm up there. Now I got every other meathead and every dude who's got his Axe body spray and he's wearing his, gold chain while lifting, coming around and looking at me like, dude, what are you doing on the ellipticals? And, you're talking, did that chick talk to you? Like the 3 or 4 hottest girls at the Old World Gym by TC Gators and up there.
The edge on them now.
Dude, and again, I guess maybe I've just been slow playing my whole life because I was like, look at me, I look like a cherry tomato with a with a singlet on at the gym. So yes, there's a million better looking dudes in here, but I'm big and I'm strong and I like Days of Our Lives. It's a thing. Marlena, it was Marlena from Days of Our Lives. Remember when she went? I don't know if you saw it when she went, like if she was possessed by the devil and whatever. I think it was during that time frame.
Right.
It was pretty awesome. But have you ever been out and outwardly approached by either by couple or a girl that you knew was in either a marriage it plays a little bit better when it's marriage. If it's boyfriend and girlfriend and they're out, that's one thing. But mine was a married couple.
I've had all three. I've had a girl, a married couple, and I had a dude.
Really?
Ooh.
Hey,
Spice things up, huh?
I was working
Real
at a
spicy.
bar.
okay.
I mean, it was nothing I could do with it, and but I politely disagreed and fended off the advance.
Yeah.
But
Did you politely do it?
but no, I had I had a married couple. And, hey, what are you doing? And had the wife come up and hit on you, and the guy's over there, hey, whatever, and he's doing his thing, and go ahead, honey, and yeah, it's pretty intense.
It's interesting. It's a little bit off-putting, but it's interesting.
I had the whole married couple thing and didn't know how to handle it. The friend I was in here with earlier, he was living at an old house, parents, and they had a next door neighbor. It was a wife, a husband, and 2 little girls. And I was outside. His mom was outside talking to the lady. And she's always waving at me, smiling at me, this and that. And then one day, my friend's mom comes up to me and she said, hey, she wants your phone number. And I was like, wow, cool. Give it to her. I'm young.
It's like a strike, yeah.
Yeah, I'm young and ready for whatever is about to happen right now. And so we start texting each other. And she's, winks in every single text message and whatnot. And I'm like, wow, this is cool. And so she keeps talking about how, she thinks, this and that, attractive, whatnot, whatever she was saying at the time. However, you don't really have to say much to like an 18-year-old, dude to really get him worked up, especially when you're an attractive looking older lady guy.
For sure.
You'll just be like, oh, wow, cool. So we start talking and she's, telling me what she wants to do to me. But then she did this thing. She got me hooked, right? She gets me hooked on her. And then she parlays it with, okay, so we can do this, but my husband has to be right there with me. And I was like, okay, so cool, great. No, I don't mind I wouldn't even mind if he was, looking through a hole in the wall, but I don't want to see this, handlebar mustache dude right next to me with whatever Johnson he has equipped. I don't want to see whatever is going to happen. I mean, yeah, great. You'll do whatever to my stuff, and he's, pounding away. But I was like, I can't really do that. And I said, hey, I have no problem with us filming it, and, we give him the best, tape of his life.
All right, yeah.
But she was like, I don't know. Maybe I could do a little bit of stuff, but I'll feel bad if, I'll feel like I'm cheating if my husband's not there doing it with you. And I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna have to decline.
I got a great story because he just reminded me of
something. And see, this is the weird thing, right? It's a good question, right? See, and that's why Dave came out today, right? Because Dave comes up with random, somebody fondled my bells at the gym. But whatever you think somebody's relationship is, and that's why there is no cookie cutter relationship, right?
Right.
Like everyone's got their own weird kink and doing weird stuff, or they've got the red ball harness set and a leather mask, and they're doing weird stuff in the room. There's it's all Pulp Fiction-y, and then you've got this, and then you got 2 people that lay in missionary, or maybe they have sex like 2 times a week or 1 time a week, and that baffles me, right? So you never know what a relationship is outwardly.
Yeah, of course.
And especially married people, and a lot of the the married folks and whatever, they do some pretty weird dastardly stuff.
This when I was bouncing at the bar, the owner and his wife, was an older couple, probably mid-50s. They had a friend. She was either going through divorce or in divorce, and she's looking for some, whatever, some relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
So I want to say that I was like 19, 20, maybe. And so she's like, well, hey, why don't you come on over? Or they introduced, she brought her up to the bar. She was
the older couple said, why don't you come on over?
Brought over her friend. She was strawberry blonde. She was a very attractive cougar MILF type of a woman.
Yeah.
And she's like, and so they set it up. We kind of chit chat back and forth, and then she's like, "What are you doing on Saturday night? Why don't you come on over?" I mean, older women like direct to the point.
Yeah,
come on
of
over.
course.
Scrub up
They
and then come on
know
over.
how to not waste time with that.
So I go, okay, and I remember it was actually apartments over here. I walk in the door, and I see this dude watching TV. This man-child type person. I'm
Your
like,
boner just kind of shoots down.
what is going on, right? So I go, well, let's go. She's like, well, come in the bedroom. And so we're sitting there, and I'm like kind of uncomfortable now. And so she goes, I go, can I ask you a question? Who was that? Oh, that's my son.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And he's just going to watch TV and whatever, and she doesn't care. He was the same age as me.
Oh, no.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, right. And so I'm like, oh, no. And so we proceeded. So
Did you laugh at him when you left?
no.
No, you don't even make eye contact. on the
No,
way
you
out.
don't. You just walk out.
Yeah.
And we started doing our thing in the bedroom while the son is watching freaking whatever.
Scrappy Doo or
Were you
whatever.
guys-
It was so weird.
Were you guys being sound conscious? Or was there nothing being
It
held
never,
back?
it never got to the sound. It was just she helped me out with the situation, and she had inverted nipples. That's all I remember.
Oh, the innies?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know why? You know why? Because she had the man-child staying way too long in the house, and he eventually he just never stopped breastfeeding.
Weird. It was so weird. I just left. Said I got to go to the bathroom, and I just went out the door.
Oh,
I will see that one. And the first time I was just randomly at a bar, and I pulled a Dave. That's why I can't, my first time of, but super attractive and dude with her. And I was like,
Right.
cool. And they were like good looking couple, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, good looking couple, but the chick, and it was like some cheap picture thing, and it was right up on Ford and Wildwood. Whatever it was back then, like Rockaway
Rockaway.
Cafe.
No, it was Rockaway.
And
Yeah.
it was Rockaway when they ran the
Yes.
super crazy
The-
pitcher prices.
Yeah, like what, 10-cent pitchers? Or
Dude,
something?
something stupid. So we've all got our own pitcher, right? And we're all in college, and we're drinking. And they had that big green power bank thing, where they had the green box of power that's in the
gosh.
back. So it was funny. We were back there joking around. One of my buddies having a cigarette or whatever, and we go inside the bar and we're drinking crazy amounts of pitchers. Well, I'm standing there waiting to get another pitcher, and I'm and super good looking couple, and the lady, like I guess maybe we touched arms, and I was like, oh, excuse me,
Sorry, right.
and excuse me, kind of looked at the dude and whatever, and I was like, my bad, fella. And no, it's okay, and puts her arm like up and on my shoulder and
Right
whatever.
on.
And she was like, hey, so what are you up to or whatever? And I was like, drinking pitchers of beer, right? Because who needs a cup when they give you a pitcher for like $1, right? So I talked to her, small talk, and it was weird because she's talking to me, and I'm like completely mesmerized. I'm like, oh my God, I can't be but like 21 or whatever, and she's all of maybe 29 or 30, but like smoking hot, like holy crap, you're hot, and I can't believe you're talking to me like you're an actual person, like woman person.
You kind of took a deep breath before.
Yeah, and then the dude comes back, so I kind of like, oh yeah, and she was like, no, you don't have to leave, and I was like, my friends. So I go back and we drink, and I'm like, dude, crazy hot lady, and they were like, yeah, what was she saying or whatever? I thought the boyfriend, we were gonna have to fight the boyfriend, and I went, yeah, I don't know, dude, she was just really nice to me. So the next time I was like, hey, go get a picture. And they were like, no, you go get a picture. Go talk to a hot lady.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is weird, right? So I go up. The husband, boyfriend person doesn't leave this time. She starts talking to me. Does the, I'm talking. I've got my hand down by my side. She reaches over, grabs my hand. Like does the, like remember the old like handshake with the,
Yeah.
like touching my inside of my hand. And I'm like, oh. and hey, what are you doing later or whatever? Maybe you want to come back to our house, and goes like full court press. And
She had a whole plan.
I'm pulling. Yeah, no, they were out like trolling for
cookie
younger
cutter.
dudes.
Right.
You know, and they must have been into gingers at the time because you know they were like, you know, we haven't had a ginger yet.
Yeah.
Right. So
I want a ginger that can bench press a house.
that's right. Yeah, because I was a big, strong, you know, man-child kid. So yeah, I was like, and I pulled a Dave. I didn't know what to do. Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
But in your banging girl with, you know, baby Huey in the living room, I meet a girl at Frankie's, right? I'm just going to keep dropping old school bar names, right? This is
I got one more after yours.
This is pre-bar 153. So I meet this girl, and she, you know, I don't know she's a stripper, but I guess maybe that's just my thing. Even when they're on days off, I still find them, right?
Right.
So I find this.
You got a radar.
Yeah, we're there, and cool, and dancing, and we make eye contact. Next thing I know, cool, we exchange numbers. I'm trying to get the deal done that night, right? Because it's Frankie's.
Yeah.
If you can't get the deal done the first night on Frankie's, you're making a mistake.
And go home.
Yeah. So we end up talking, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, I go out, she calls me, text, whatever, and come, you know, she lives in Ipsy. And I'm like,
What was her
okay.
name?
I don't know. Random girl who lives in Ipsy. Well, I'm like, well, I'm not going to Ipsy. And she was like, well, I'll come to your house tonight, but you know, next time you got to come to my house or whatever. So comes to the house.
yeah.
So we make the sticky, right? And it's good. And, you know, I did identify that she had a child from skin tails,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
like I could tell the boobs
Stretch
and,
marks.
you know,
Yeah.
stretch marks and the boobs and whatever, right? Not my thing. And I was really, that was very early. Like you know, if I couldn't tell, that's one thing, but I identified you may have multiple. Like she did not impregnate well, right? So we end up messing around. Everything's cool. Like the next night or 2 nights later, she calls me. You got to come out to Ipsy. And you got to come out and do whatever. So I was like, man, she's pretty about it, right? Like there was no.
That was the next day.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, it was the next day or day after.
Right. Okay.
So I'm like, cool. So I'll go out to Ipsy. So I go, and it's way down Washtenaw where it kind of veers off that way, and it's those 2 apartment complexes that you go and you turn in on the right.
Yeah.
So I pull in there, blah blah blah, and I'm like, boy, this is kind of a shithole apartment, right? But I'm like, cool, all right, go in there. Her roommate's there, and I'm like, oh, and her roommate's hot. She's got a cute little roommate chick. And this is where I could have identified, because if you've been in enough strippers' apartments, they're not a tidy bunch. Okay?
Really?
They are not a tidy
especially in the
bunch.
kitchen area.
And their clothes, they don't understand the use of hampers, right? Then I swear to God, we could do some how they were raised and whatever, and they became strippers, because in whatever household they're being raised in, they don't put clothes in a hamper. And look, I'm no super Mr. Clean, right? But at least my clothes are in a hamper, and I'll take the clothes out of the hamper and
Director clothes.
hang them over the the bathroom shower rod, so the steam gets into them to take out the wrinkles or whatever before I put them on. Their clothes are piled like you could twist an ankle walking through this apartment. This little, empty McDonald's container on the thing, and I'm just like, oh my God, this place is horrible. Yeah. And now I'm thinking of ways to back out or try and, maybe, the
one last
the
time.
friend is possibly like being held captive, and be like, you want to get out of here? You're really hot. Could I show you what it's like to not be in a place this horrible?
You ever tried not living in a garbage dump before
Dude,
in your life?
garbage dump with clothes everywhere.
Yeah.
So she tells me, and I'm like, hey, so what's up? You go, and she was, we're gonna have to go in her room and this and this, and I'm like, what is the deal with the rooms? Like, are there extra people in this house, like in this apartment?
Did you have a
She's got the trophy, right?
Yeah.
She's got the F trophy, the baby, in this in this room or whatever, and they're arguing back and forth. And I was like, hey man, you know what? We could just reschedule. I can do this on another day.
Right.
She was like, no. She was like, come on, it's fine. And she grabs my hand and she's yelling at her friend, like, damn it, you were supposed to, put the baby in the other room or whatever. And I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, all right, it's a baby, it's sleeping, right? It's in a bassinet or whatever you put babies in, or, whatever the closet. I don't know where you keep babies, right? I don't have them. Then what do you
Dishwasher.
yeah, you go put them in the hamper. What's in
The microwave.
Did this turn you off? Did the yelling and everything?
everything. No, everything, dude.
Yeah.
I've got a very
and
low
you're a little
threshold.
nervous and shit a little bit?
A
Probably.
little bit. It's this weird house I've never been in.
Oh, yeah.
I would prefer to do a perimeter check, right, and make sure
Dude.
there's no dudes.
Yeah,
No.
secret
Dude,
Right,
I've been to the
right.
stripper house when you go there, and it's like you don't know who's in the closet. It's
Really?
some other dude coming on over.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a really
Well,
you have to get really comfortable with the situation or put yourself.
and see, I can't even imagine getting aroused in that environment.
Okay, it gets better. I go in and I go, oh, and there's a crib, right? And it's not like a crib a baby sleeps in. It's that playpen crib, right? So this kid is being raised horribly because he's not even like sleep. He doesn't have like a baby bed. He's just sleeping in that little like WWE ring thing they put him in, right?
They got hand-me-down from an aunt. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sitting there, and I look and I'm like, why is there this big? It looks like a trampoline, like a miniaturized trampoline, like with the barrier around it. And I look and I'm like, oh, okay. So she's like, yeah, look, don't worry. And I was like, hey, man, that's got, there's a baby in here or whatever. I was like, maybe we'll just go, I've never made the sticky with a baby around or whatever. She's like, no, it's fine. Of course, she eased my, with the zip and the drop down, and she did the Tim Tebow, right?
Yeah.
So she's doing the Tim Tebow. I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, this is neat. How does the damn baby stand up in the WWE wrestling ring thing, stands up and grabs the top of it, makes eye contact with me.
In your soul, looking at your soul.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what is
My mother.
This isn't my dad.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Who are you, you
Are you
big
another
orange
uncle?
fellow? So I'm standing
More of
here.
Me coming soon?
Dude, there was just the light coming in through the slotted blinds,
And you
right?
saw his eyes.
So there's light.
Right in his eyes.
Yeah.
Like just a perfect slit.
So
Kill
Like the
Bill.
movie
Side.
It, when the It clown's coming through the sewer grate, you just see his eyes. Go ahead.
Hi, Jakey.
I had to set the tone.
Baby comes up. Hi, Jakey.
Well, that's kind of how it was, because I'm standing there and I'm like, cool. Well, and I look over and he kind of grabs the top and stands there with his head, like he could get out. Like, I don't know if he's going to attack me.
Oh, boy.
So he gets out, or he's standing there and he looks at me with the most annoyed baby look, like, oh, great. So she's cranking again tonight. Like,
Right.
this wasn't the first time this had happened in this little kid's life, right?
Baby's
No.
looking at the mom
Yeah.
like, come on, really? I'm sleeping.
You're not the
here."
His
other
first
guy
memory.
from the other night.
So then I'm like, I kind of tap her. I'm like, hey, and she, and I was like, there's a baby. Like, I thought the baby was in the other room or whatever. And she went, no, it's fine. He'll go back to bed. And she, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of weird. Like, I don't know. And I kind of put my hands on her shoulder. She like does a wrestling move and went, vroom, grabbed me and was like, lay down and just get on the bed.
And
like,
shut
maybe,
up.
Yeah,
So
like,
this has happened before.
maybe more dudes have been freaked out by
Yeah.
this. And she was like, no, sit there for 1 second, and went,
This
jumped on me like a spider monkey and rode me like
Borderline rape.
she rode me like a My Little Pony doll.
This is just another instance of Jake being dominated and taken advantage of.
Dude, and the weird part was, I'm looking, and the little person's looking at me, and the mom is just going, don't worry, just stay there,
Well,
it's fine.
And you're just like,
At this point, it's a little person. Before it was a child. Well, once
It could
saw
be a
over the crib
midget.
and looked
Could
at
you imagine
guys,
if it was
it's
a
now-
midget?
It's now a human.
what if
Yeah.
it was a midget?
What's that one?
That would just throw it all off.
Yeah. What's that one movie where is it Joe Dirt, where the family has that like Cyclops kid living in the basement?
Yeah, it's Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
When he goes and stays with the family.
That's
Yeah.
what I'd be afraid of,
That's-
some psycho little, you never
So that
know.
was don't get me wrong. I mean, I finished, right? because I'm an adult, I'm a
Jake's gotta do what
gentleman,
he's gotta do.
right? But it was the creepiest thing.
Oh.
And after that, don't get me wrong, I saw her out places. And then I just kept trying to crank her friend.
So, I gotta tell you this story.
Okay.
So when I was working at a topless establishment, and I see this girl I went to high school with, and she's working. I'm like, hey, oh my gosh, man, oh my gosh, okay, I gotta go on stage. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. So she comes down. She goes, hey, you should come by one time, and I'll give you my number if you're ever around, and we'll catch up and stuff. So I'm like, okay. So I get the phone number, and so about a week and a half goes by. I give her a ring, say, hey, what's going on? We start talking and we're about the past and stuff. And she's like, hey, I live over here by, off of 275. Why don't you come on by? I'm off on the, whatever. So okay, I go there. I go in it. It's a trailer park.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that means anything, but
Sometimes.
I go in there, and I see she's got this little 5-year-old boy, playing her, and she comes and sits on the couch, and we start making out. I'm like, it's a little bit of small talk, chit chat, then all of a sudden we're making out, right? And she's and I'm like, real uncomfortable. She's like, you gotta hurry up. I go, what do you mean I gotta hurry up? She's like, I've been wanting to do this for like 20 years, and let's just get it done. And I'm like, okay, well, what about him? She goes, hold on. So she goes and turns the TV on to like I don't know,
Max
SpongeBob
volume.
or something, or Thomas the Train. And so she sits him in front of the TV,
Like right next
watching
to
the TV. I mean, literally 5 feet away,
And you guys
we're
did
on the
this all.
couch. So she proceeds to
man.
start, having relations and going down and coming down. And all of a sudden she's like, all right, strap up. And we strapped up. She's like, you got to hurry up. My boyfriend's going to be home soon.
Oh,
I'm like, what?
Oh, no.
So now I
Oh,
have to
Matt.
perform under pressure. And I got little Jimmy watching Thomas the Train.
is this the father of the child?
I don't
Oh,
know.
who knows? Yeah.
Who knows?
We don't know to this day. So I manned up and got through the session and then went to McDonald's.
Yeah, you got to get
Beelined
out of there.
your way out of
ASAP,
there, huh?
man.
It was the craziest thing.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I mean, dude, doing that in front of, obviously a little, human being standing there and not being happy about it is weird.
Right.
That's even a weirder. I mean, I've been under pressure a million times with, I don't know, maybe Matt and I, we do have that, that weird gene that, yes, you end up messing with, like, oh, I've always wanted to do this, and my boyfriend will be home any minute, and it's like, oh no,
Hurry
I
up.
know I should leave. And movies are always like that, where the dude's jumping out the
Yeah.
window,
Yeah.
trying to grab his britches and whatever. But
that happened to me like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't know until we were done.
Technically, this happened when I was like 21, a long time ago. Technically, I had to put that
A
out.
long time ago.
of
Yeah.
course, it wouldn't have been like last week.
Wouldn't have been yesterday, but go ahead.
I mean, no, it was like 2 weeks ago, and there's this chick that no, not 2 weeks. It was like a month ago. Sorry, a month ago. I have no perception of time when it comes to the old Johnson.
The old
So
Johnson.
it was this girl, and she goes to Wayne State, and they have those dorms where you have to literally present your identification to the security to go up the elevator.
Mm.
And so we go up to the rooms, 15 minutes of small talk, and so just to make this as streamlined as possible, we finish, and she had it was that time of the month, and I didn't know that either. So I was in the bathroom cleaning stuff off of myself, and at the same time, she's like, "Hey, you gotta hurry up."
It's a
like,
double whammy.
She's like, "Yeah, my boyfriend is like downstairs in the lobby, like pretty much waiting for me to come down. He thinks I'm just getting ready." And so I'm sitting there like, "Do you have any washcloths?" She's like, "No." So I'm sitting there with toilet paper and water, scrub it as fast as I can. And we go down the elevator, and I have to stand in the elevator and walk out the lobby like I had no idea who she was. I was like, I literally went there just, I was her, D appointment.
To have bloody sex.
Yeah. And then the next day she hit me up and she was like, "Hey, I really enjoyed that. We got to do that soon." And I just never texted her back.
You don't.
And then she hit me up again. She's like, "Okay, I guess I screwed up." And I just didn't hit her back up either. I was like,
Yeah.
"Don't bleed all over me and
Yeah.
then make me
Tell me
pretend like
my
I have no
boyfriend,
idea
yeah.
who you are." That was a really weird situation.
Well, reviewing all your guys' stories. about this-
Taking notes.
in review,
yeah, reviewing all your guys' stories. about
people
this-
suck and are
so,
horrible.
so the outcome is
Right.
bang quick.
and leave quick. Yeah. So the idea of it is, I'm looking back to the story of the time at the gym, and with reviewing you guys, obviously the guy was present and conscious going for what's going on for what happened in those scenarios. But for my scenario, it didn't seem like he even this husband even knew. Like she wanted to make it exclusive.
or
He
didn't
maybe been
know, or
oblivious.
doesn't, or does it? Yeah, either oblivious or didn't care.
Give two
Yeah.
Well, it brings
crappies.
you to the idea of maybe in relationships like this, they're unhappy. In a
No,
household.
see, but you can't even
No.
can't even project that because you don't know. We're telling
Right.
you, we're
Right.
telling you that there are so many people who have so many different variances, but they keep it in
And-
their like. How many people cook food in a different way? Like, dude, you cook whatever? No, I do this.
And well, hold on. And then
Who
plus
knows?
you got society. Society's changed since we and Jake and I have grown up, and the whole relationships and having sex and random stuff. It's changed. I mean,
Right.
nowadays it's cool to have a young stud around, and I mean, it's okay.
Well, and
Yeah.
look, if I was with a chick, and let's say I never would have gotten divorced, and we're whatever, we've been married 10 years, right? 10 years and dated for 6 or whatever, right? if she would, if we sat down over dinner one day and she was like, hey, I mean, look, we've been doing this. I noticed, it's just, I mean, look, we've done this a long time. It just doesn't seem to be, woo, fireworks and whatever. What do you think? And if my chick was like, hey, if I go do some random stuff or whatever, it has nothing to do with my ego. It's just if she needed something new and wanted to do something, cool. I mean, me personally, I just wouldn't want to know about it. Like, don't come back and be like, "Oh my God, check out this phone cam." Although maybe I'd be into it. I don't know.
You don't know that.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that do a lot of things, and I've known a lot of people that were older than me that told me about certain stuff they did, and I was like, "What, dude?" When I was managing one of my topless places, right?
Right.
One night they say there, and I kind of took this club from being a complete hole in the wall joint to an actual upstanding club, right? Like I didn't do it on purpose. I was just happy bouncing, but they went, you're an adult. You kind of show up on time. How about you come over here and do this? And I was like, no. And they went, yeah, you're going to be fine. So basically I just don't have my regular job now. They put me at another one, right?
Right.
Well, as I get it to a point, and it's getting good, we started doing events. We had 3 floors, right? So the main floor and the second floor was for dances or dancing, or we had a secondary bar there for parties, and then the third floor was where the girls got dressed, and we had a whole like banquet floor up there too. Well, they decide, they're like, hey, Jake, they're gonna have we've got a god darn swingers party. Right? And this was my first introduction to swinger party, right?
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And they said, but here's the thing, no dudes. Like, we can have no dudes in the building. And I went, that's impossible. Number one, you can't have 150, 200 people inside of this club. I was like, you do know that we have a Cabaret D license, right? We have a license with, with the city, with the state. We have a Cabaret D. There has to be ample amount of security. There are certain things that can go on and not go on in this club.
Right.
That with me being a manager of it, and look, say what you want, I'm the one who, fought every day to get this club to be what it is, and I'm not going to have it go down and, get 29 citations and whatever on a night I'm not here. So I was like, unacceptable. So the manager, the ownership kept coming back, and I went, no. I go, look, I could give a crap less about what anyone does in here, but I need my security at the doors.
Yeah.
And if anyone's going to be in here making sure drugs weren't being done, that, nobody was smoking weed, nobody was doing illicit substances, and there wasn't sex going on the property, right? 3 things that, was kind of my job to make sure didn't happen on a regular basis. Right. So I was like, look, I know they want to pay a lot for this, but, if you want to have the originators of this party come and talk to me, I will convince them that I don't care. I look at boobs all day. I could care less what any other dude's doing in this place.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I have the talk with them, and they, well, we really don't. And I was like, well, it really doesn't matter what you like or what you want. I don't know where you go and dictate these kind of rules, but this is what it's going to be. And I go, look at me. Do I seem concerned? Do I seem like really excited this is happening? If anything, you're causing me a bunch of struggle and strife to make this night happen. So either you're going to or you're not. And they're like, awesome. You're pissed off and you don't seem to care. That's what we want. And I went, cool. My security will be at the front door. I will be the only one roving the inside. They'll be at the front door downstairs, front door, second floor, and that's it. So the night goes off, and all these couples and whatever, and they, guys do seem a little freaked out that I'm there, you know what I mean? And I'm trying not to make eye contact with anyone, just making sure my servers are doing everything they need to do, trying to give off the best, party. Because if it happens a lot, and they pay well. Dude, how do I run into one of my dad's buddies in the joint? And he walked by, and dude, I'm not making eye contact, and I went, oh, like deer in the headlights, and he looked at me, and I just pretended I didn't see anything. Later, he came up, and he was standing there, and hey, this is awkward. I don't see nothing, partner. Right? Yeah. I was like, you guys can do whatever you want, and hey, man, if we could just keep this between. I was like, dude, I don't know,
my business is not your business.
Yeah, dude, I'm not going to tell my dad about. I don't tell my dad about my general work life, anyways.
Right.
So that whole night, a couple other things happened in and around that, night that were pretty interesting, and for being a fly on the wall. To look that dude and that girl, oh, that's a cool couple. Oh my God, they're swingers. Like, I wonder are they going to grab a couple, or are they just going to grab a chick to add in? Like, there's a whole like if you were playing like an old school like board game and you needed cards or something,
Right.
you know, it's just you didn't know what the people were going to do.
You know, that does kind of sound like a cool board game idea. Might have
Swingers board.
Yeah.
swinger party.
Yeah.
Are you a swinger or not? Find out the next time at, you know, Jake and Matt's house when everyone comes over.
Everything happens at Jake and Matt's.
That's right. You know, they'd come over and, hey,
Everything and nothing.
do you want to? I mean, because people swap partners, right? They're not even like weird swingers, but they'll meet another couple that they're friends with. I've had that also. I had that from like 3 couples. Like, hey,
Just
Right.
want to
so would you guys, whatever? And I'm like, really never crossed. And dude, just to tell you how oddly vanilla I am with that, I went, I don't know what, huh?
Right.
Like, I don't know what's happening. But yeah, and none of my chicks ever were, anyways, or at least that's what they said. Because of course I went home and went, ha! They want to have sex with us. Yeah, both of them want to, you know, I mean, I don't think all together in one pile, but I think they want to whatever. Which, I don't know. If you had a random cool couple, nothing lasts forever. That'd be a cool summer fling of, you know,
Craziness.
your friends, everyone, you just kind of happen to wander off and, you know, even though you know it's happening, but you pretend it's not maybe and you sneak
Maybe.
off like.
Right.
I would just have to pretend that, you know, I would just have to not have too much emotional attachment to whoever I'm seeing. I don't care at that point, right?
I went to one swinger party and I wanted to, because now it's some weird thing that I need to know about now, like after I had seen it. I had a chick friend that I was like, look, be my friend. You and I are friends, right? We've never hooked up, even though, of course, I wanted to, you know. But I was like, how would you like to be my swinger beard, right? I'm single, but no single dudes are allowed, right?
Right.
And most of the time, no, single girls are, but not. And she was like, dude, I'd like to see the inside of one of those places. And I was like, yeah, we go there. We pretend we're a couple. We hook up. We have to agree. We hook up with a random couple, and then I go off with the wife, and you go off with the
It's a good
whatever.
idea.
And I did that.
Oh,
I did that
man.
one time, and it was neat, and I felt so like,
Pandora's box.
yeah, that was awesome. I did that thing once.
Really? It was
Just
an
got a good
experience
idea.
then. Uh-huh.
Thanks, Jake.
Well,
I'm gonna-
because it wasn't a real thing. Like, this is my
Right.
real person, and we came up with this. We just had to play the part
Right.
of we were together and we were friends, so it would be totally cool. But we went there. We just went, okay, we're gonna have sex with some married couple, and high-fived, and yeah, a lot of drinking,
There's,
a lot of
uh,
wine and shenanigans.
Passion's alive,
I'm
you know,
gonna-
because I have a couple buddies who they're in a relationship, and it's the girl's task to sleep with so many dudes in that week, and if she doesn't, she gets punished.
Whoa.
You know.
This is some
Wait,
sort of
whoa.
domination thing.
Hey.
isn't it?
So it's like
whoa.
I have some buddies that are like that. So it's like passion's alive, you know, and that
Passion.
kind of thing. You know,
What is passion here in this search?
you know,
I
so
don't
it's-
know what to say on
There's,
that one.
like
Get
like
a
you said
paddle
yourself, like sex is a completely different thing nowadays until before. You know, it's you learn off of older news and you take it and you just
So what
regurgitate it, put
happens
it-
if she? What's the punishment part?
that's him to decide.
Yeah, I guess whatever kind of
Wow,
weird.
like sit in the corner like a table.
I don't know,
Physical punishment,
whatever he
financial
wants,
punishment.
whatever- it's a dominant relationship. You know,
That's like 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, look,
And it's
nobody
completely fine.
knows.
Right.
I've got plenty of friends. Nobody's ever told me that one
Yeah,
before.
I've-
That one
Yeah.
sounds neat.
That's a new one.
I mean, I don't know if I'd be down with it, but it sounds pretty neat. I
No,
just like to know about stuff I don't know about. Or learn
it's
about it,
pretty
I guess.
crazy. I've done some pretty neat things in my lifetime as well. So it's just it's not that the whole word of spicing up, but it's just try something.
It's a different avenue of
It's a different
sex.
look at it, right?
It's a
You
different
just enjoy sex in a different
form
way.
of pleasure, desire, gratification.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I thought George Costanza was a Renaissance man with trying to bring in a sandwich and have sex and
The
reach over-
pastrami.
Yeah, eat the pastrami sandwich.
And listening
while-
to the football game. the baseball?
something about salted cured meats
It's-
that really get him aroused or whatever.
Yeah.
It's an old Seinfeld reference.
That's a
No,
good one.
I
I like it.
watched Seinfeld. Yeah.
Did you see the Seinfeld
episode.
where George was trying to
Yeah.
eat the sandwich and make the sex, and
Yep.
he kept trying to
But
up
then
the
he
ante?
found the chick at the end, and then they went in the kitchen.
Maybe this was a weird Seinfeld because I kept talking about shoving people in closet or in dresser drawers or whatever, like Kramer did with the Asians. Remember when he had
that was
the
a great one.
and Kenny Roaster's
Oh,
chicken
yeah,
and whatever?
yeah,
Dude,
with
the-
his
I think-
drawers, he would bring out
Hold on,
Asian
I
dude,
think the
fold it
best,
out,
one
yeah.
of the best Seinfelds is the all-time favorite, is how the menage a trois,
Yeah.
the one where they, you know, Jerry is with this girl, but he wants to sleep with this girl, so they like they're like in a war room, and it was how the camera and the whole how it was filmed. Like they had a top view, and they're like, you know, they're putting their head over there, and they're thinking, and they're writing stuff on a board, and they forget, and they go, I got it. And George, he closes the door, remember, and he comes in, he slams the door back home, I got it. And then,
I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
Oh, and then Jerry goes, but I don't know if I can become a swinger because I got to go buy lubes and in a velvet robe. I'd have to have a velvet picture and a robe. Oh, it was so funny. That's a good one. Seriously.
Yeah, no, that's well, and I guess at the end of the day, like, you know, I'm kind of normal, right? Like I just want to go to work, come home. There's my chick, right? I want to do the weird things. I want to try and make you as happy as possible with the
right now.
the penis. Dude, come on, bro. I've been cranking everything under the sun since I was 16. Like,
yeah, but I mean, come on.
What do you think? Like next week, I'm gonna get into the.
I don't know. What if at 45 you're like, you know,
what if
maybe
you want to start just being a dom?
Yeah, you just.
Yeah, I really don't. I'm nice. Like
I don't.
I don't have.
Well, that's what it's nice about it, because it's like during, like you just said yourself, like during the day you're a completely different person, but during the bedroom it's
you're just a freak,
right?
Yeah.
And it's like
I just want to have an orgasm.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the easiest path to wow, that was neat. That's where I need to be. Like, I don't need a whole lot of accoutrement in the middle.
Sidebars.
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, I like boobs, and I like to make sure they have a good time and whatever. I'm not, you know, I don't know.
I mean, there is levels of orgasm. Like there is better orgasm than others, you know. So that's why you just gotta.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing that really, I plenty of fished my way like across when I was doing national sales, and I was doing business in Nashville, and my dad lived in Nashville, right? That's why I just made business in Nashville so I could have a time to to be there. But then I also went, well, I come here like every 3 weeks, no pun intended. I was like, I should find somebody to, you know, to wrestle with. So I meet this chick on Plenty of Fish. We talk, we do whatever. We talk for like a day. I'm tired because I drove in from Dallas and whatever. And she's like, well, okay, you going to come over? And I was like, well, dude, I've been up like all night, everything. I really need to chill. I end up going back, having a drink or two and a sandwich with my dad and, you know, his chick and whatever at the house. I pass out. I wake up to like 38 messages on my POF at like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, oh, dude, my bad, right? You know, we were talking. So I opt for like, dude, can we have phone sex, right? Can we listen to like sext? Like, dude, I'll talk a bunch of stuff, crank it out, and I'll be by tomorrow afternoon. And she was like, slick, you know, Mr. You know, we talked a lot, and you passed out on me and whatever.
Oh.
Dude, I drove 45 minutes back from my dad's house to right outside Nashville to meet with this chick. Like now it's like 12:15, 12:30.
Right.
Now, ironically, I had a good night's sleep.
Right.
I had a good night's sleep. I'm wide awake. I took a shower.
Yeah.
I washed my undercarriage and everything. Everything's so
Good job.
So I get to her house. She knows I'm from Texas. She comes out. I should have known I was in for something.
Oh, boy.
She comes out in a Tony Romo jersey with nothing on.
Stop it.
I swear.
Varsity Blues. Stop it.
I swear to God. I swear to God this happened.
That's awesome.
So I was like, oh. She was like, you know, yeah, I think you'll know me when you see me. And, of course, it's 12:45 at night, and there's nobody out. And I went, oh, she's wearing a cowboy jersey. I was like, I like this.
Yeah.
Right? So I pull up, and
Touchdown.
I'm like, hey, what's going on? And she's short, and she's cute, and whatever, and big tubes.
Those
and,
are great.
And I'm like, oh, this is neat. So we go in. And I'm like, I always, anytime I've ever had one of these like random hookup casual encounter things, I always play as if I don't, like, this is my first time. I'm like, well, I don't really know, you know, how we go about this or how we, you know, start this or whatever. You know, I was like, you tell me. And she was like, well, no, you seem really cool. And we're having a couple glasses of wine. She brought out like, I don't know,
Cabernet.
little things to eat while we were doing cheeses or whatever. And, dude, super nice, swanky apartment, whatever. And I'm like, cool. Well, we, you know, so we're sitting there, and I'm still not making the move, but I'm kind of laying on the couch, and she's laying on the couch, and we're having the drinks.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, then next thing I know, she was like, yeah. She was like, we're good to go. And I was like, yeah. And, you know, she leans over, starts, and of course my hand goes underneath, and that's why I figured out there was absolutely nothing underneath the Tony Romo jersey, right?
Oh,
so
wow.
naked,
Yeah.
no breeches, no bra, no nothing.
Good
And I
for
went,
her.
hey. I go, normally it would take me a minute to get here. And she was like, no, it's like that for a reason.
Picking a
so,
lock.
So, yeah,
Like that for a reason.
I picked the lock, do whatever. We go in, we get in bed. So we get in bed, and as we're kind of going at it, if you hadn't noticed, I talk a little bit, right? So as we're in the makeout and, getting ready to, and, possibly even, in the throes of the first few, revolutions of the hips, I'm like, hey, so, I'm like, just randomly, like, what are you into, whatever. And I noticed that all four corners of the bed have a stand-up, one of those stand-up mirrors that is only about this wide by like 5 foot tall. The ones that you would just have and they check out their outfits. Yeah. There's one on all four corners of the opposing bedpost, right? Like looking to where if you're at the bedpost, you're looking over and whatever. And I went, that's weird. And I was like, well, look, I go, I really don't have, look, I like to get after it and, go haywire and whatever. And believe me, you'll see once we get started. But I kind of, when I finish, I like to finish on things, or I like to visualize the ending, right?
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, really?" She was like, "No." She was like, "I like the opposite." And I went, "Huh?" She was like, "Yeah, a lot something like our hostess pie, terminology, right?"
Sure.
And I went, "Oh, but that's where babies come from."
Yeah.
And I go, "No offense, I don't know you that well that I'm gonna, kind of conclude our meeting on this little area or whatever." And she says, "Oh, well," and I went, well, we'll talk about it, right? So we do, and I figure, I don't know this chick, I don't do whatever, I'll just do things my way, and then we'll go from there, right? So, as we're doing whatever, I ask her, I'm like, hey, blah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah, so I do, and I finish that way, right? So and I'm like, that was neat. And she went, okay, well, I did it your way. You're going to have to do it my way. Then it became a tit for tat with whatever. Yeah. And, dude, we did it all the way until, 12:45. Like, it was 12 hours of, a good 35, 40-minute romp. Yeah. Whoop, rest for a few, and then start again. She had to take a conference call in the morning, a phone conference call with all these other things, and had it there. So now, of course, I'm going to be, I do like that. I'm like, you're on the phone, you can't really do anything. So I'm diddling and just enough not to make noise. She's hitting, she would talk or whatever, and then boom, and then hit mute and whatever. So that was kind of neat. So that was random first encounter. So but yeah, what she would
did end up doing it her way.
I did
it her way. Did she have?
And she slides. She slides off the bed, and that's what the mirrors were there for. Because she would slide off the bed, and in front of the mirror, she would watch the
Niagara Falls.
Yeah. That's the kind of girls you got to look for. Like,
so was she on birth control? Was she?
I don't know. I'm liable to have a redheaded Tennessee baby. Dude, I could have like Johnny Appleseed all across the United States. I don't know.
When you meet people like that, you're gonna.
It sounds like it.
I mean, she showed me. She brought out her birth control, and it was down to the last little thing and whatever. But
that's awesome.
But yeah,
that's funny.
But that weird mirror thing, man, the all four. So if it happened at any quarter of the bed, she would jump off there, and maybe she liked a different mirror for different angles or whatever. It was a thing, and she was really into it. Like, I just kind of left her alone, and she would stare longingly into the mirror with the thing, and like move the mirror over and like drop onto the mirror, and yeah, it was a whole thing.
That's different.
I mean, hey, that was her bad. I was cool.
Yeah, if she asked you to do it again, and she asked you to do it her way, but this time it'd be different, would you go for it?
Dude, I did it like 3 times that night her way. I was kind of over it. I was just,
you were like Burger King. You have it your way.
Yeah. I at that point, like the first time,
that sounds like a lot of fun.
It's not my thing. She seemed to enjoy it. I wasn't like over her shoulder looking. It really, out of all the stuff that I look at on the Magic computer box and the porn box, never do I go for that video. Like, and it says hostess or whatever. I don't ever look.
You want the toaster strudel, and she wanted the cream filling.
So look, I'm pretty easy to get along with. You gave me the option to do it the way I wanted to once, and then after that, dude, it was just all a gift. All I needed was one. I could go home and go to bed. But if you just had me keep doing it, I went, okay, here you go.
All right, I'm a team player.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, she looks like the ho-oh, the ones that's got the cream on the inside and on the top.
It was all.
Well, because if I go 2 rounds, if I'm going a third round, I'm like probably barely. I'm shooting mostly blanks at this point, right?
Yeah.
I'll feel a lot more comfortable after getting 2 rounds in and then having it her way. I don't think it's gonna produce gallons after gallons.
Oh, not. I mean, yeah. The first second it begins to
She probably would have been pumped. It was her way the first way.
Yeah.
She would've
Yeah,
been
it doesn't
fucking-
matter,
She
but-
would have been fucking
eruption.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
pleasant.
But if I was gonna do anything that far out of my comfort zone, right? Like we could have a goddamn whore baby and whatever. I don't know who you are. You seem to be a business person. You did take a a weird business call in the morning, and you let me hump you during the business call and whatever. So
She was really on the phone with her boyfriend.
no, I was on speaker. I forget the type of business, but yeah, it was one of those like Saturday morning. You gotta. You've got to have that weird
Debrief
call and
or
whatever.
something.
Yeah, but it was weird. I mean, it was good. I'd never had a weird sexual encounter like that before, and I mean, cool, I guess. But
experience.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, I've never wanted to do it again, and yeah, just her in that mirror play, man.
That's crazy. I never heard of that one.
Yeah, kind of not my thing.
No.
And it's weird because I like it there in any
But
which
not on a
way,
mirror.
but not in there and then
Yeah.
out
On there
onto a
and-
mirror and
They're going like an elbow than that.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, inside elbow, nape of neck,
Sleep a
anything.
whole lot better at night knowing that's where I went.
Yeah, it was odd. It was definitely odd. But thanks for getting us off on no, damn it, Dave, don't get us off. But you getting us off topic on this.
Yeah,
on
thanks
this,
for coming and getting us all off, Dave.
My pleasure.
And on that note, we're gonna wrap it up like I should have somewhere in Tennessee that night. This is the Jake Podcast, JakePodcast.com, Bachelor Pad Radio.
Podbean.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Later.